Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good morning to all the viewers. I'm Hiral Dadia. An interesting week is what we are witnessing in terms of where markets go, because clearly the bulls are actually holding fort above those 20,100 levels. Now, clearly there is consolidation in the markets, but it's an absolute bullish consolidation that we have been witnessing. And the bouts of volatility is something that cannot be ruled out as well. And that's what all your fund managers, CIOs have been alluding to, that the long-term growth story still remains intact, but the short term, there could be some amount of churn that could be happening. Second consecutive session of gains for the markets, wherein we've ended above 2100. If you see in terms of the Sensex as well, a new high is what we've scaled in intraday trade. It was mainly Infosys as well as M&M that was leading the pack yesterday. And the metal pack has come into the limelight once again. And this is on the back of what's happening with regards to China. Now, there has been a disruption in terms of Australia as well, and that could impact the iron ore prices as well as coking coal prices. But what's going to be the overall impact is going to be interesting to watch out for the metal pack as well as the cement counters in the second half of the financial year. Moving on, if you see in terms of the broader indices, clearly outperforming the benchmark indices in trade. Now, two factors that we need to consider that could play small sport is the dollar index, which has now surged above those 105 levels, as well as if you see in terms of oil, which is above $94 per barrel. Now, a combination of these two is something that could actually impact margins of a lot of corporates, and that could be a trend that we could be witnessing as well in the form of margin pressure. So that's something we need to wait and watch and see which quarter that impact comes in. Very quickly, a couple of stocks that actually have stood out yesterday in terms of volumes is NMTC, Balrampur Chini, Balkrishna Industries, United Spirits. These are a few of the names that we have been tracking on the back of high volumes and, strong up move. If you see in terms of the FI activity, after 10 or 11 sessions of selling, you have FIs which have come back to be buyers. It's a small amount of around 290 odd crores, whereas you have DIIs who have been marginal sellers as well yesterday. Talking to a lot of analysts, they are of the opinion that the long-term investors should actually consider looking into a sector rotation, specifically from the blue chip space, and the short-term traders should actually find prudent to incorporate hedging strategies in their trading approaches. That's the key message that we have been picking up as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like, but it's a new series from a weekly perspective today. We have Agam who's standing by to get us more in terms of what are the levels indicating. Agam, good morning. Clearly, we've managed to close above 20,100. Yeah. Now, maintaining those levels is absolutely crucial. And a lot of people are talking about the churn that could be happening in terms of the large cap space from the broader markets. What are your levels indicating specifically for Nifty as well as Bank Nifty?
Sure. So, Hero, you made some very pertinent points here. One is expectation of consolidation, but even as the indices consolidate, we also start seeing a lot of churn within, so that the index level gets maintained. So what we're keeping an eye on, at least as far as your futures go, we continue to see an open interest increase as far as the Nifty September futures go. But yesterday was a day of consolidation. Of course, it was also the weekly options premium for the Nifty expiry. But we have seen about 7% added in open interest there. On the other hand, we continue to see further unwinding as far as the Bank Nifty futures is concerned. But as far as levels go, coming down from the Nifty's standpoint, all the activity has now shifted well above the 20,000 mark. So we do have maximum open interest in the 20,200 call and the 20,000 put. This also indicates that the premiums, based on the premiums that we are looking at right now, we aren't seeing too much, volatility. In fact, consolidation of sorts, at least for the week coming in. In terms of the most active options, again, we are seeing further writing around the 20,300 and the 20,200 mark. And 20,300 specifically has seen about 21 lakh shares added. And on the lower end, 20,200, 20,100 puts seeing a lot of addition in open interest, thereby indicating writing. Finally, coming down to stocks which are in focus, NMDC looking at fresh longs that was up around 6%, but Balrampur Chini, along with a handful of other sugar stocks too, also doing well in yesterday's day of trade. largely on account of fundamental reasons, and Hindalco is a surprise one. Usually not so active, but yesterday it did see a 6% increase in open interest towards fresh longs, so we'll be watching out for that. But on the whole, Hiral, we are keeping an eye on a 200-point range on the Nifty going in with 20,000 now as a little bit of a firmer base than it was about 2 days ago.
Absolutely, and this is going to be interesting to watch out for, because everyone who was betting on 20,000 and about to levels of 2,400 was actually looking at the support at 19,250.
Right.
It seems that support levels have started to move much higher from here on, and that is going to be the positive trend that we should be watching out for. Thanks, Agam, for getting us the details. So that's the overall setup in terms of what we should be watching out for in terms of markets, and the participation with Bank Nifty, as we know, absolutely becomes crucial. In fact, the key thing we should be looking out for today is a possibility in terms of the rejig, in terms of Sensex as well as FTSE. In fact, FTSE will be more on the execution front. Sensex, there is an anticipation should be announced today as well, and this is what we're picking up on the basis of the calculations done by Novama. Now, what they are saying is that HDFC Bank is set to experience a substantial $600 million inflow in terms of flows in today's session. Overall, FTSE will be adding HDFC in 3 tranches, with each quarter witnessing around $500 million of inflows. With this, if you see the Sensex quarterly rejig, the weight up will result to almost $102 million coming in terms of HDFC Bank. And when you tally both of them, it's poised to receive almost around $600 million. In terms of the Sensex rejig, the key actions inflows will be in HDFC Bank, Axis Bank. So watch out for these stocks pretty closely in trade. Whereas on the outflow front, you have Bajaj Finserv, Infosys, as well as Reliance Industries. And we're picking up these calculations based on, the Novama Alternative and Quantitative Research, the report that was released by them as well. So let's see how these numbers stack up in trade today and what's the kind of impact we see in terms of where markets are concerned. Because on the back of the inflow in HDFC Bank, if you see that up move, the surge in Bank Nifty and in terms of Nifty will be incredible to watch out for in today's session. So watch out for these heavyweights. But another heavyweight that continues to remain in focus is an Infosys. Now, TCS has been in the news over the last couple of trading sessions on the back of the 52-week high and the kind of up move and surge that we've seen in the stock price, and the kind of deal wins that we've seen in terms of TCS in the last 2 to 3 months. We have Infosys who's joining the bandwagon as well. Tushar is standing by to get us more in terms of what are the key announcements on the deal wins with Infosys. Tushar, over to you.
Good morning, Hiral. So Infosys late last night put out a 2-line press release saying that it has won a $1.5 billion deal from a global firm for a digital transformation over 15 years. So while we await more details from the company, this is again significant given how we have in the last couple of months seen both TCS, Infosys, as well as HCL Tech, the 3 largest IT companies striking multi-billion-dollar deals. This is a respite for them, but again, as we have also mentioned, that these are longer term deals, so the effective amount is actually very small. So if you see, TCS wins includes one from JLR, Phoenix Group, M&S, Nest UK. All of these are in Europe. HCL's wins include 2 big telecom deals, Siemens and Verizon Business, which was a $2.1 billion deal. So now Infosys also got on to the bandwagon. The deals are flowing in. They are longer term. The discretionary ones, which is always a problem, persists.
Right, so this is going to be interesting to watch out for as well in terms of Infosys, another heavyweight that could be adding to the Nifty up move that probably could be seen along with an HDFC Bank in today's session. But moving on, you have Aviation that continues to remain in focus, and the way crude prices are moving as well, that could have a dampening impact in terms of jet fuel prices. Overall, though, yesterday we did have the Aviation monthly data that was released, and clearly you still have Indigo, which is topping the list in terms of the domestic passenger traffic, in terms of market share. Plus, the aircraft glitch on the back of Pratt and Whitney is in focus as well. We have Mika who's joining by to get us more in terms of what brokerages make out of it. Mika, good morning. What do you have for us in terms of Indigo, and what is the key expectation on the back of MK?
Good morning. So the first I'll talk about the August traffic report by the General of yes. So the domestic air passenger traffic was up 22.8% year on year at 1.24 crore. Indigo led with a 63.3 market share, followed by Vistara and Air India at 9.8% each. Vistara had the highest passenger load factor at 91.3%, while SpiceJet was second at 90.9%, and Indigo ranked fifth at 83.6%. MK Research issued a note on Interglobe Aviation today following the report, maintaining a buy rating with a target price of 3,000 rupees. The report highlights the company's favorable position to benefit from robust air traffic growth through route optimization and capacity expansion. Indigo aims to double its fleet by 2030 with an existing order book of 980 aircrafts. MK Research also states that the company is best placed among its peers to address the current industry challenges. The primary challenges revolves around Pratt & Whitney's engine problems. Indigo currently owns 165 aircrafts with P&W engines, and there's an anticipation of a recall involving over 3,000 engines due to the aggravating issues. This could affect approximately 20% of Indigo's grounded aircraft fleet, which stands at about 40 aircrafts. Nevertheless, Indigo's short-term plans to lease 20 aircrafts and deliveries from its Airbus order book offers potential support amid the situation, said the brokerage. And the second challenge pertains to the rising crude oil prices and the jet fuel spreads. This has prompted a substantial 14% month-on-month increase in the aviation turbine fuel prices by the public sector oil marketing companies for September 2023. Given that Brent crude is currently trading at over $93 per barrel, MK also anticipates an additional 3% hike in October 2023. Consequently, MK's projection for the fuel cost per aviation seat kilometer in the second quarter is rupees 1.7, and it has revised its FY24 estimates upwards by 10 to 12%, now standing at 1.8 rupees compared to the previous 1.6 rupees.
Right, so that's going to be interesting to watch out for in terms of Indigo. Another listed player that continues to remain in focus on the back of this will be a SpiceJet as well. Thank you, Mika, for getting us the details. But moving on, the Pharma pack has continued to remain in focus as well over the last couple of trading sessions. In fact, there was some bit of profit booking, but again, the pickup that has come in has been absolutely spectacular. Varsha standing by to get us more in terms of few of the pharma names that have been in focus or will be in focus in today's session. Varsha, good morning.
So the pharma stocks which one should watch out for today is first is Alchem Lab. Now the income tax department is conducting a survey at multiple offices and subsidiaries of Alchem Lab Limited. Now this has no impact on the operations of the company, but once the survey by the IT department concludes, we can expect more updates on the same. Then we have Strides Pharma Science, so which announced that its subsidiary, wholly owned subsidiary Strides Pharma Global Private Limited Singapore has received tentative approval for dolutegravir tablets from US FDA, which is equivalent of TVK tablets used for antiretroviral therapy of HIV patients. Now, the approval adds to list of products that Strides has approved under the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief pathway, taking the total to 13 products. This tablet has a market opportunity of 1,345 million US dollars in US markets. Now, the approval for Strides qualifies the company to participate in global donor funded programs that procure this life-saving medicine, and it is supplied in 126 countries. As of year 2022, donor procurement for this dolutegravir tablet is estimated at a value of 35 million US dollars. Now, this product further strengthens the available offerings in HIV treatment from Strides. Then we have Sequence Scientific. Now, the board of directors at its meeting held on 14 September approved the sale of its API unit at Tarapur. Now, in line with company's network optimization objective, company had already discontinued manufacturing operations at the Tarapur plant in July itself, and with transitionary connectivity challenges led to revenue decline in quarter one of FY24. Now, 28 million was towards Tarapur settlement pay and asset write down, which affected the revenue in quarter one. Now, these have now been resolved and no annual revenue loss is expected. Further disclosure as required will be provided and when the binding agreement is entered into for the proposed sale. Then we have Clean Science and Technology, which subscribed to additional 11.70 lakhs equity shares at a premium of 588 by way of subscription to the right issue of Clean Finochem Limited, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of company. Now, Clean Fino is in process of setting up manufacturing facility for its specialty chemical business. The additional capital will be used for funding its greenfield projects. Then lastly, we have Gufic Biosciences, which granted patent for Omna dicline tosylate, which is used for a trial studying the treatment of bacterial pneumonia and bacterial infections. Now, the patent is for 20 years, which is effective from April 19, 2021.
Right, so these are interesting names to watch out for in today's session. Sequent, yes, you might not see a major reaction because the company, as Varsha was mentioning, has already said that the impact of the shutdown has already been priced in. But what's going to be the value in terms of the realization on the sale is going to be interesting to watch out for. Thank you for getting us the details. But moving from the Pharma pack, another power pack, sector is the power space, which has been buzzing as well. And this is specifically on the way electricity demand has been moving up. And with that, the way companies have been shifting focus to the renewable space as well. Rishi is standing by to get us more in terms of which are the stocks from the power sector that will be in focus today. Rishi, good morning.
Good morning. So there's Adani New Industries wind energy solutions unit that said on Thursday that its 5.2 megawatt wind turbine generator has been enlisted in the revised list of models and manufacturers that is published by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Now, this is the highest capacity wind turbine in India to feature in this model list. So this listing in the model list enables commercial availability of Adani Wind's wind turbines. Now, the company also plans to ramp up its overall capacity to 5 gigawatts. Then there is NTPC again in the power space, which has signed a supplementary joint venture deal with Uttar Pradesh Rajya Vidyut Utpadan Nigam Limited to take up a joint development of thermal power projects in Uttar Pradesh. So there will be two of 1600 megawatts and one of 1300 megawatts. Then there's Tata Power, where its renewable energy arm signed a power delivery agreement with Expro India. Now this is to develop a 3 megawatt captive solar power plant in Maharashtra, which will produce over 7 million tons of 7 million units of electricity. Then there's Bank of Maharashtra, moving away from the power space, which has received bids of 760 crores for Basel III Tier 2 bonds. It has accepted 515 crores, including a green shoe option of 265 crores at a coupon rate of about 8%. Then there's Sona BLW in the EV space, which has approved $1.6 million of investment in its Mexican subsidiary, which will eventually set up a plant in Mexico, and it will be operational by the end of 2024. Then there's Lemon Tree Hotels, which has signed a license agreement of 2 hotels in Gujarat and Nepal under the brand of Lemon Tree Hotel and Lemon Tree Resort, respectively. Now, the 64-room resort in Gujarat will be operational by FY25, while the 35-room hotel in Nepal will be operational by FY24. Now, both of these hotels will be managed by Carnation Hotels, which is again a wholly owned subsidiary of Lemon Tree Hotels.
That's interesting to watch out for, and the hotel space has been buzzing as well. Thank you, Rishi, for getting us all the details. One of the stocks that Rishi spoke about, Sona BLW from the auto ancillary space. Another one that continues to remain in focus from the auto space is Bharat Forge. We have Saloni who's going to stand by and give us more in terms of Bharat Forge as well as the other companies that she's tracking as well. Saloni, good morning.
Good morning. So as you said, Bharat Forge, it signed a pact with its unit, which is Kalyani Strategic Systems, to produce armored vehicles in India for Paramount's global clients. So the existing partnership between Paramount and Bharat Forge and its subsidiary has resulted in the development and production of the locally made KM4 armored vehicles for the Indian Army. So the companies have now broadened their partnership to include the production and development of the 4x4 and 6x6 infantry combat vehicles. Then we've got PI Industries, which signed a strategic alliance with Copert to foster advancements in sustainable agricultural practices and jointly innovate in the domain of agriculture biologicals. Then we have Godrej Properties. So the company is planning to raise around 105,000 crores via two non-convertible debenture issues, of which 1,000 crores will be raised via 1 lakh NCDs at a face value of 1 lakh each, and the remaining 500 crores will be raised via 50,000 NCDs at a face value of 1 lakh each as well. And lastly, we've got Patel Engineering. So the company, along with its joint venture partner, has been declared as the lowest bidder for an irrigating project of about 250 crores from the Maharashtra Krishna Valley Development Corporation. So this contract is for the construction of pipeline distribution network in the state of Maharashtra. The project is expected to complete in around 60 months, and is to execute in the joint venture, of which the company's share is 40%.
Right, so watch out for these names pretty closely. Patel Engineering is going to be interesting to watch out for in trade today. But moving on, so whole host of stocks that are in focus in the secondary market. Primary market continues to be in focus when we have our IPO man Himansh, who's getting us more on it. Himansh,
Right.
what opens today and what is the subscription looking like in the last 2 days?
So a whole host of IPOs have been in focus, and I tracked this yesterday, and I've noticed that there are over 10,000 crores worth of IPOs that are in the making in
Wow.
August. So
In the month of September.
in the month of
right?
September, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So today Yatra Online opens, and many of us are familiar with it as a air ticketing platform. So now the company is set to launch its IPO today, and the offer is set to close on September 20th. The fresh issue is of 602 crores, and the offer for sale is for 173 crores, putting the overall offer size at 775 crores. The price band for the IPO is set at 135 to 142 a piece, and there's also been a pre-IPO placement of 62 crores by way of rights issue. The company yesterday raised almost about 350 crores from 33 anchor investors. And here's what I learned about Yatra Online recently, where the company has a sizable B2B segment as well, catering to almost 813 corporates and almost 50,000 SME clients as well. Now, the company plans to use the 602 crores of fresh issue proceeds for investment in customer acquisition, retention, as well as organic growth initiatives, and has allocated about 400 crores for that. And it has also set aside 150 crores for strategic investments and inorganic growth, basically. Now, should you subscribe? Well, considering the risk factors, such as the company has had negative operating cash flows in the previous two fiscals of about 153 and 83.3 crores respectively, and the B2B segment, which contributes to almost 29%, 28, 29 odd percent. So this could be a concentration or perhaps a dependency risk on this particular segment. And the employee attrition rate is also pretty high for the company, where it's over 50% for the past two fiscals. And half of the revenue also comes from airline ticketing business, which again goes to say that the business overall is pretty concentrated. But overall, we have been seeing a strong investor interest, especially the retail investors who have been subscribing to a lot of these IPOs. I'll come into the IPO status check, where we have RR Cable that is going to be today would be its final offer day, where it's already subscribed 1.4 times as of day 2. Zaggle Prepaid Ocean Services, which opened yesterday, it's been subscribed 19% on day 1, and a key note here was that 87% of the retail portion that's been set aside has already been subscribed. And last year, Sami Hotels IPO, which opened yesterday, it has been subscribed 7% as of day 1.
Absolutely. So where do you think is the preference between Zaggle and Sami, Himansh?
I mean, clearly, as of now, the preference between the two of them looks towards, it's skewed towards Zaggle, but I think a lot of the subscription picks up
Happens
in
on
day
the
2
third
and
day,
day 2 and
specifically day 3. So for RR
Yes.
Kabel as well,
Right.
day 3 today is going to be absolutely crucial.
going to
We'll
be-
wait for an update from you as well towards the end of the day. Thank you for getting us
Thank you.
the details. So that's all the action that we have in the primary markets as well. And as Himansh was mentioning, 10,000 odd crores is what is being raised in the month of September itself, and a good amount of marquee names as well that we have been watching out for. In fact, that's all that we have on this session. Thanks for watching, and overall, today is going to be an interesting day of trade for all of you, as we have our exclusive BQ Prime Banking Unlimited Summit. You will be able to watch all the action that's happening at the summit from 11 a.m. onwards only on bqprime.com. In fact, industry and banking stalwarts from the banking industry. You have Rajiv Anand, Deputy MD Axis Bank, Shanti Ekambaram, whole-time director at Kotak Mahindra Bank, Ramesh Lakshmi Narayan, CIO at HDFC Bank, Mahesh Ramamurthy, CIO at Yes Bank, Umesh Revankar, Executive Vice Chairman at Shriram Finance, and Rahul Ribello, COO at Mahindra Finance, who will be joining in as well. And you'll be able to hear all their views and what's in store for the financial space from here on. So stay tuned to BQ Prime.